Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So at the current moment in time, I am the only player in the world yet again that has maxed out every single arcade tuning slot in the mutant cells, specifically the mutant cells. Now to get these open, you need to farm 100 of the fission accelerants, and for each tree it's you buy each node and then they're available across all presets. But with this, I've bought all nodes in all of the single trees for every single descendant. Whether you want to see a Keelan with a bunch of nodes which are unlocked, whether you want to see a Jaber with a bunch of nodes that are unlocked, whether you want to see a Lepic, every single descendant, I've got it done. So let me tell you what's good about the mutant cell, let me tell you what's bad about the mutant cell, and let me give you a good idea on how to work with the mutant cells on a lot of descendants, or I'll give you the general idea to maybe help you guide with your own build. So let's take my bunny as an example. So let me go to my bunny build because this is the one that I use. I will also be giving you guys my builds in this video just to give you a quick rundown of everything as well. So that's just for groundwork. Before we get into it though, let me talk about the most important thing, which is the spoils boxes. Now these are the big old boxes that everyone knows and loves, that they complain that they can't get any of. Now I did run Sigma Sector, specifically Sigma Sector hard mode, for the increased drop rate of 5% instead of the 2.5% over the normal mode, and I have been running Sigma Sector almost straight for exactly let me just pull up the numbers on my my YouTube channel. So I did a 48-hour stream, well not 46, 56-hour stream straight, and then I've done a 6-hour, and then I've also done a 9-hour stream right now, basically a 9-hour stream. Yeah, so I've done approximately 60 to 70, almost 70 hours of Sigma Sector within like the last 3 days. I've slept a total of 2 hours and I've been live, and I've just been bashing Sigma like an absolute dog. Now in the best case scenario with these runs on the drops, the highest I've seen is 10 and the lowest I've seen is 3. In a best case scenario, you would get yourself approximately 760 runs to do the exact same thing I've done. In a worst case scenario, it'd be about 2,500 runs, 2,500 runs. In my case, I was more so receiving 3s, 4s and 5s. So based off just a calculation, I've approximately done 2,100 Sigma Sector runs to get all of this. As well as that, you end up with 7,300, or I've ended up with 7,300 Arc Genetic Scissors. This is the resource used to extract them, so I can do 730 extractions with no problems. Now, like I said, the spoil boxes that everyone loves, I've got about 50 of them throughout all these runs. Now 50 might not sound like a lot, but I promise you it is enough. Most Descendant builds will use 1, if not 2 of these cells, and that is it. Across the entire build, 1 or 2 won't be enough for an entire Descendant. So let me go on into the actual resources I got, and then I'm going to quickly go on over everything else. As for resources, if we go over the basic materials, so Sigma Sector will give you quantum crystals, nano compound, and energy cores. Now it's no surprise that I got an absolute ton of these. I started with 1 million quantum crystals and I ended with almost 22 million. I started with 1 million nano compound and I ended with 13.4 million. And I also started with 1 million energy cores and I'm basically at 4 million. Now let's get on into the actual Descendants. Now there's a lot of different things in a lot of different corners and a lot of different nodes. Now overall, I will go through this, so let me show you my bunny build first. For bunny, I used a sprint speed weapon, so I never used MP. I used a grapple weapon to fly, and then a malevolent to absolutely rip everything apart. For my actual bunny build though, this is what I run. No MP matter at all, just straight damage with bunny, max fun. This is the way that I play bunny. My reactors, singular and duration up. 2 pieces of mage set, and then 2 pieces of plague set to basically back up my damage, and that's it. Now for the tree, did I notice a difference with this tree? Yes. Was it a massive difference, enough to justify changing your entire tree to be around this? I would say yes, but also no, because it's basically diminishing returns. My bunny would already hit for 3 to 400,000. With this it hits from 4 to 500,000. It is a damage increase, but when I'm already at a point where I'm one-shotting everything anyways, it doesn't really feel that satisfying or worth, especially given how much it costs to do this. Now a lot of people are put off about the amount of time they have to put in Sigma, but I think if anything, people should be worrying more about how much they've got in terms of investment. Now, a lot of people haven't already maxed out all their arcade tunings on their Descendants, like I have, so a lot of people are going back in with a new level of motivation to get onto that. That's a good thing. But now I'm going to go on over all of the individual corners and what I would recommend with every individual corner. Let me go on a Descendant that's useless, and then let's quickly go and make a build and shoot up into one of the corners. So with this Descendant in S, let's specifically go on over the top right, and then the bottom right, top left, and then bottom left. We'll go through it that way, just so it's nice and easy for us to essentially get through and talk about it properly. Now, in the corners, there's specific elements. Now, for the R ones, for the rutile ones, you've got stuff such as elemental adaptations. And I'm just going to say this straight away, the resistance ones are definitely not worth it. They are not a scam, I would say, but there's no content that makes me feel like I need resistance as of yet. So I would not bother putting any of these resistances in. Now, the fusion dimension tuning, like the attribute tunings, they're not bad. With this one, for if I was to go with fusion singular, I'd put that on bunny, for example. But just generally, tune it more so towards your own Descendant. If you've got a fusion ability, then of course use it. But overall, the only one I would say out of this corner that's actually worth it, I don't actually have any of them on me because I've just put it into an ace, is actually going to be the electric cohesion. Now, the electric cohesion is better. Depends on Descendant, so don't think that every single time you need to use the cohesion. Look at your Descendant. If you've got a higher skill power modifier, use the skill power one, which is like the elemental cohesion one. And if you're using a Descendant that's just got highest power, skill, strength just generally, then just use the other one, which is the what's it called, just the adapted, no, the I can't remember the name of it, can't find it over here because this is going to show the wrong ones. But there's another one that just allows you to do straight damage with elements. That is the one I would recommend. I don't have it on an ace, but I do have it on bunny. So that is what I would say for the top corner. Let's move into the bottom corner. Now, the bottom corner with A, because I just realized that each element does have its own different perks, so I think it's better for me to go over it from letters in this perspective. So I'm gonna actually switch over to the journal real quick, just so it's faster this way, because I've got all of them here. So with this, the R ones, the elemental adaptations, like I said, they're basically a scam. Cohesions depends on your Descendant, but stacking damage is better if you're going to be using abilities. With Inace, this is perfect. With Bunny, this is perfect. Sharon, this can also be very good for a fault ability as well. Vulnerabilities, that's the one I was talking about a minute ago. So there's an option of basically scaling up damage, which is the cohesion, and just straight damage, which is vulnerabilities. If you want the vulnerability one, that's just more damage off the bat. You will see that straight away. But with this, depending on the Descendant, sometimes it goes a little bit better. Like I said, Bunny's an example of that. Now, these elemental tunings or whatever, this is a pretty interesting one, this battle suit efficiency one. This one would work great with Ajax with a defense style build, so on and so forth, but that's basically it. Then we've got our adaptation again, same thing, this shit's a scam, don't bother. Cohesion, good for your damage. Freyna loves toxic modifier or toxic skill power modifiers, so definitely do that with Freyna. Same thing, skill power, so on and so forth. Then you've got the shield ones. Now this one is interesting because I was going to say people need to make sure they read this stuff. The skill power on this is good, does not apply if the shield effect is 1, so you can't use this with bionic bunny builds, or you can't use this with any overwhelming HP, or sorry, overwhelming shield builds. That's something to remember. With this, it's just about essentially balancing it out. Now with this, you would expect that the best ones would work on any Descendant, right? And this is something a lot of people have an issue with, is that this doesn't work everywhere, that you've got 4 nodes and you can't just shove what you want in it. And I think that these are basically equivalent of 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We had the Descendant as a base, 1 step forward, 2 steps forward is the arcade tree, and then the 1 step back is the mutant cells. The arcade tree already made every Descendant with a min-max build capable of absolutely destroying everything. Check all the builds on my YouTube channel for proof of that. You don't really need these mutant cells to increase your damage output. Yeah, they will by a bit, but is it enough to justify changing your entire tree, re-altering your build, and in several cases breaking your tree? With Viessa or with Blair, I had to kind of break my tree to choose between crit rate or crit damage, You can get like high enough crit rate on the build, but then the crit damage just feels a little bit off. But it's just a loads of extra things when we already have fully functional builds with proper trees that compensate for it. And I don't think that every single time it is worth it. Out of most of the Descendants, the only ones I can say this is truly worth as in a 100% invest in it is Inace with the singular build. Inace with the singular build and with the setup. So let me quickly show you the Inace setup. So you want to be building for full singular. You basically just remove hunting hounds, change focus on tech to focus on singular. Then from there, make sure your reactor is singular. I go with, this is my bunny reactor. 1 second, please. I go with singular and crit damage. Let me just go to my Inace preset. Makes my life a bit easier. There you go. I go with singular and crit damage, and then 2 pieces of plague for damage and 2 pieces of hunter for cooldown. Then for my arcade tuning, just electric cohesion. And with this build, I've seen up to 70-80 million damage on my third ability. Kind of crazy. You can dash amplification control and put like decimator in there or another module, or maximize conservation in there, but this is what I run on Inace, and honestly no issues ever. Inversions again, just same thing, running HP, MP, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, my all my presets are gone because I've done a subathon and I had to delete all my presets, so I've started making them up again, so I'm going to be posting up my builds on the Discord. But most importantly, right, I think that the mutant cells are not bad, but they're basically just the definition of diminishing return. Most players do not have a build that has 12 catalysts in it, weapons with 10 catalysts in them, a maxed out tree, a full gold reactor, full gold components, all completely maxed stats, to the point where this actually makes a difference. Some players do, myself is one of them, but a lot of players don't have that, and I think that these trees are definitely good, but they are only good in very specific scenarios, and you really need to know what you're doing in order to actually pull more damage out of the tree. It doesn't give you very much more damage, and I wouldn't say that it's worth breaking your back over to farm, but overall, I am yet again first to do all of them, so yeah, that's my advice from playing Sigma for 3.5 days straight. I've been testing quite a few builds, Bunny, VS, Blair, Lepic, Inace, you know, so on and so forth. I've been messing around with them, and I think just overall it's more of a headache trying to force a new build to work than just sticking with what we have. That in a good way, because of, like I said, it breaks the tree sometimes, and that is an example of how remaking your build just to get an extra 10,000 damage on the tree, it's just not worth it in my opinion. So yeah, stick with the trees you've got, check out all my builds. I've got like the top tier min-maxed everything that you need. So yeah, that's basically been this video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button. If you did enjoy, please consider subscribing. I'm gonna just quickly go over these as well because there's a few more of them. The cohesions are good if your Descendant uses them. Tuning and elemental, if your Descendant's got them, knock them out. Shield one, don't bother. This is, like I said, choosing between crit rate and crit damage. These two right over here, so on and so forth. I'm sure a lot of them are fairly simple, but people don't know how to build in this game either. But yeah, that's been this video. I hope you've enjoyed. Smash that like button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.